New rules ski relax hoye ne, travelers aa rahe ne, who can enter in Canada?
Reapply, put your previous application number on the new application and you can hope that your application will be fast-tracked. A lot of people ask me, from which province can I get PR faster?
Yes.
Then it's a big myth. Majorly, PNP refers to if you have some kind of connection with that province. For supposedly you studied in that province, you have worked in that province, you have a job offer from that province.
Once they apply in one province, do they move to another province?
Out of 80 possible PNPs, there's no one simple way of saying that is it point based or not. Some of them are point based, but some of them are not.
सत श्री अकाल नमस्कार तुसीं देख रहे हो सांझा टीवी मैं हां तुहाडे नाल अर्शदीप तुहाडा सारिਆਂ ਦਾ प्रोग्राम वे टू गो द कंप्लीट इमीग्रेशन सोल्यूशन ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਕਿ ਕੀ ਕੁਝ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਕੀ ਨਵੇਂ ਰੂਲ ਆਏ ਨੇ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ 7 ਸਤੰਬਰ ਤੋਂ ਥੋੜੇ ਜਿਹੇ ਰੂਲ ਰਿਲੈਕਸ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਰਿਲੈਕਸ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਹੂ ਕੈਨ ਐਂਟਰ ਇਨ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਐਂਡ BC PNP ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ PNP ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਸੁਣਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ PNP ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਸੋ PNP ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕੌਣ ਐਲੀਜੀਬਲ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ ਰਿਕੁਆਇਰਮੈਂਟ ਕੀ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਸੋ ਅੱਜ PNP ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਤੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਸਟੂਡੀਓ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਮਿਸ ਬਾਨੀ ਅਰੋੜਾ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਕੈਪੀਲੈਨੋ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਤੋਂ ਨੇ ਆਓ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਬਾਨੀ ਵੈਲਕਮ
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Nice. So Bani, first of all, tell us about new rules. Ski relax hoye ne, travelers aa rahe ne, who can enter in Canada?
Yes. Fully vaccinated travelers can now start entering Canada for non-essential reasons as well. And this is great because a lot of people have been trying to come to Canada from last 1.5 years and they've been unable to. Even people who had essential reasons, like if they had to take care of a family member who's ill in Canada, if they are parents or relatives of a temporary worker, they can now start entering Canada for essential reasons as well. Well, there's a recommendation from IRCC that if you have applied a visitor application for essential reasons before 7th of September, reapply.
Okay.
Reapply. Put your previous application number on the new application and you can hope that your application will be fast-tracked.
And any other requirement for coming in Canada other than 2 vaccinations?
No.
No, just the fully vaccinated?
Just fully vaccinated. The vaccination has to be approved by Canada, the government of Canada, yes. And as long as it's approved and you have proof of that, you can now come to Canada as tourists.
Hopefully the direct flights will come and resume and then people can come directly. Otherwise they have to come via another countries. That will be difficult for them as well.
Yes.
So let's talk about PNP. First of all, tell us about PNP. What is PNP?
PNP stands for Provincial Nomination Programs. In short, if I have to tell you that every year, Immigration Canada comes up with a federal quota that how many immigrants is Canada going to approve this year. And out of that quota, every province gets a small number of quota that they nominate so many people for Canadian PR.
Okay.
So that quota for each province is their PNP, their Provincial Nomination Program.
So it's different in different provinces?
It's different in different provinces because each province decides what is their labor market needs. And based on those labor market needs, they nominate people to come to Canada and become PR. And then it's moral obligation of that person coming into Canada that they live in that province and they work in the economy of that province. But that's not a mandate. A lot of people ask me, from which province can I get PR faster? Then it's a big myth. PR is federal. It's always federal. Once you're a permanent resident of Canada, you can live in any province of Canada, but when you use the PNP to come here, it's on you. It's the province's responsibility to provide the job opportunity that they saw in your profile.
And who can apply for PNP programs?
Well, it's very variable, because if you ask me, as of today, there are 80 plus PNPs streams running across Canada.
Oh, okay.
Right. Each PNP has its different requirements. They're for different people. Majorly, PNP refers to if you have some kind of connection with that province. For supposedly you studied in that province, you have worked in that province, you have a job offer from that province, all of that, or any one of that, you have a relative living in that province, then you have a connection to that province.
And you need a job offer too for that?
It's not mandatory.
Okay.
You have to have some kind of connection to the province, like I said. It can be your relative living in that province, your blood relation, or you can, or you must have studied in that province. If you heard about it, New Brunswick just came up with a new PNP, in which if you're studying in those 4 colleges that are participating in their PNP process, then you're eligible to apply for one.
So people can apply from outside Canada or not?
Yes, they can. But again, for those people, they have to show some kind of
connection. With the province. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
If they have a job offer, that's a connection ready. If they have someone living in the province, which is their blood relation, then there's a connection. Sometimes PNPs are possible without connection, like Ontario PNP or Nova Scotia PNP, but that's like a lottery. You don't apply to those. You apply to the federal government. But if those provinces like your profile, then they just give you a nomination and you can apply for PNP in those states.
Some people want to, like you said, they can apply in Ontario, they can apply in Nova Scotia, or maybe in BC they can apply. Once they apply in one province, do they move to another province?
Sometimes they do. Mostly they don't, because well, most of them have immigrated because they thought that province was the best for them, or they had a job offer and they're working in that province because that's how they've got their PR. But sometimes people do. I myself know this because my husband is an Ontario PNP and we're settled in BC because we had better job opportunities here. But people do move sometimes, but mostly I haven't seen that happening.
Was it challenging?
For us?
Yes. For anyone who is going to one province to another province.
I think it's all about seeking opportunities. We saw better opportunity in BC, so we moved. And that's how it is for most people. They come to Canada, they explore.
It's their personal choice.
It's a personal choice, yeah.
And what will be the requirements for applying BC PNP? Is there any point system? How many points they need for apply any PNP or BC or any PNP in the province?
BC's PNP is completely point-based.
Okay.
But however, if you ask me in general, PNPs are of 2 types. One are, some of them are point-based and some of them are not. Some of them are based on the express entry stream, and they take their nominations out of the pool that has already been created by the federal government, and some of them don't. So out of 80 possible PNPs, there's no one simple way of saying that is it point-based or not. Some of them are point-based, but some of them are not.
So what's the process? What's the requirements?
If you talk about the express entry PNPs, you first create your profile in the federal pool, and then you apply to provinces because they can directly take data from the federal government's pool.
Okay.
And if your profile is of interest to them, they will issue you a notification of interest. That means that you can apply to their province. Usually takes about 3 to 4 months for them to take a decision on your case, and once that decision is made, and if it's positive, they give you a certificate of provincial nomination. That means you are now eligible for a federal PR. There's another process, and that is when you don't go through the from the express entry system. That is that you apply directly to the state to the province first. You haven't created your express entry profile. The province decides everything on its own. If you are someone who's who can fit into their labor market needs at that time, they will issue you a positive certificate of PNP, and then you go to the federal government and apply.
So as you said, there are two ways. So they
Yeah.
can go to first federal entry, like express entry, and then they can choose if they want to be with the province.
Yeah.
So what is beneficial for them? Do people go with the PNP, or they can go with, like, which one will be most, I can say, important for them? So where they can go?
I understand your
Where
point.
they can go?
Well, again, that depends on what kind of job are they doing. For example, if someone is a manager, if someone's coming from or any knock A or B job, they should go, I would say they should go with the express entry stream first, if they're meeting the points, of course, because that's faster. But if someone's doing a knock C or knock D job, then express entry is not the way for them because they're not eligible for it. But that doesn't mean they're not eligible for PR. They can apply for PNP first and go that route towards PR. It might take them some time, but it's not impossible for them. So what is the best way is actually profile dependent and not just one specific best way for people.
So is there any openings for them, like they accept the one amount of files in 1 year or 6 months? Is there any openings for them?
Usually I've seen that a lot of provinces have now moved to draw system, like BC is taking out, it's so active that it's taking out draws every 15-20 days. So you keep, and Ontario just moved to a draw system this year. So basically just apply and regular draws will keep coming, and you'll, if your profile meets the draw, then you'll get a notice of interest to apply. Otherwise, for other streams where there isn't any draw system or point system, the best you can do is put in your file and wait for the notification to come. There is no guarantee as to when it will come because the province will decide as to what time they need to call more immigrants. So, but that should not discourage you to not apply. Because they do it regularly, that keeps happening.
I have a question here. Let's suppose somebody's work permit expire prior to receive positive notification from PNP on the application. So what can they do?
Well, if they're already in Canada and they're working with the same employer who's supporting their PNP application, if their PNP is still in process, there's a way for them to get work permit while the decision on their PR file or their PNP file has not been made. So work permit will be issued to them till the time a decision on their PR is not made. It's like a bridging open work permit, right? But if you're outside of Canada and you're applying for PNP, still you can get a work permit after you get a positive nomination certificate from the province. So while you're waiting for your PR, if you want to come to Canada and start your job, well, you can.
Can someone change their employer after they apply the PNP program?
Well, most of the PNP programs are employer dependent.
Oh,
you have a job offer and that's why you're applying. In that case, you can't change the supporting employer. But some PNPs are not employer dependent. Like, for example, if you have a master's or a PhD degree in BC or even in Ontario, you don't need a job offer to apply to PNPs. So in that case, it doesn't matter. You can change it. So PNPs are of so many types and of so many categories that it's very dependent as to, where are you coming from and what is your background.
And what is the process time? How much time it will take to accept the application and you will get the program?
You will, I guess, it's very generic, but I think 3 to 4 months time is a fair time to say once you've been accepted into a PNP program to get to the certificate of nomination. It takes around 3 to 4 months.
Can it be rejected?
Yes, it can be rejected. It is very much on the officer's discretion. If the officer finds that there were inconsistencies on the application, or if the application wasn't complete in some form, some information was missing and you couldn't provide it to the officer on time. If there were medical reasons, then definitely an application can be rejected.
If somebody's application is rejected, what they have to do? What can they do?
If their application is rejected, and if the officer, supposedly an officer asked for certain documents, and those documents could not be provided in the time frame that the officer asked, but you know you can provide it, then reapply. Clear those doubts that the officer was having on your previous application, and you will definitely hope for, you can hope for a positive decision next time.
How many times they can apply? Because sometimes they were like, oh, you cannot apply second time, or you cannot reapply, or if second time their application got rejected, what will be their options?
Something that I can tell you about Canadian system is that it's very fair. There is, if you can solve the questions that the visa officer has, then well, they don't limit as to how many times you apply, unless you've like lied on your previous applications. And if that is the reason, then you should not apply, because then there's a ban on you on applying to Canada. But as long as there were just questions and you couldn't answer them at that time, you can always reapply. Just yesterday we got an approval from someone who has been refused 3 times before. So just because this time the application was complete and all the questions on the previous application were answered, well, it's a positive decision this time.
If we'll talk about only BC, there is a BC Tech Pilot project that came up. Their draws are keep coming up every like 15-20 days or every month. So how important is that pilot project?
But it's not a pilot project as of now, because last year they decided to make it a continuous program. So it's gonna be there. It's BC Tech, and it's here to stay. Basically, for the tech BC Tech program, they have decided, they've given a list of technical knocks that if you're working in that if you're working in the technology sector and you're working in those particular knocks, then BC's labor market has decided that they really need those people to come to work in BC. So their applications are just fast-tracked. They're getting draws early. Their application processes are happening faster. They have a dedicated team who's only working on the tech profiles, because BC is developing its tech market. So if you're anywhere in the world and if you can secure a job offer from BC's market, because BC is hiring tech people from the tech industry, it's a very good program for them.
Very nice. And if somebody is looking to apply PNP or PNP and Express Entry, whatever they want to apply, what main things, key points they should keep in their mind? Any tips for them?
Well, I would say consult right. Do your research, do your due diligence. Don't fall prey to half information, because that can be dangerous. There is something for everyone, but you need to know what is right for your profile. Go that way. Don't just think that, oh, 10 people I knew did this and they were successful, so I should do this too, because you could have different background compared to them. There are so many streams and there's something for everyone, but you have to know your options best.
Maybe your requirements are different than others' requirements, or maybe your file has different points than other points. So
maybe your education was different from another. So maybe your
you
job
cannot compare your file with another file. So what will be your message who are going to apply for anything, or they want to come in Canada to apply PNP, or they want to come here as a student on a work permit, or they want to secure their future in Canada? What will be your advice to them?
Like I said, do your due diligence, research, consult right, find legitimate consultants and Canadian lawyers to help you with your application if you're not doing it yourself. That's the only thing I can say.
So if they want to consult the Capilano Immigration, where can they go? Where can they find you guys?
They can find us on www.capilanoconsulting.ca. All our information is given on that. Just drop us an email or a text message and we are ready to help.
How are you different than others?
How are we different from others? Well, I have to think about this one.
No, any particular point you want to highlight?
Well, I would say that we're a core team of 3 licensed immigration consultants, and we've taken this upon ourselves that we do all the consultations ourselves. So once you book a consultation with us, you're not going to see a front face, but you're going to see a licensed immigration consultant answering your queries, and no one else. So hopefully, because of our background and our knowledge, we can give you the right advice based on what profile you have.
Thank you so much for coming in and telling us all the information about the PNP. We are hoping to see you soon in the studio and discuss about the other topics. Thank you so much for coming, Bunny.
Thank you for having me. It was my pleasure. Thank you.
Way to go, the complete immigration solution. Today we talked about PNP programs with Bunny Arora. If you have any questions about immigration, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ consult ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ. The information is on the screens. You can call them, email them, and we'll provide you all the information regarding immigration. Keep watching Sanjha TV. Thank you so much.